Hello, I'm Bob Schieffer, and welcome to the CBS Evening News Online edition. Just ahead, presidential advisor Karl Rove gives grand jury testimony for a fourth time in the CIA leak investigation. John Roberts has details and analysis. Also, saving the youngest victims of the Kashmir earthquake, Richard Roth reports on why it's such a huge and heartbreaking task. And making sense of the complicated new Medicare drug plan. That's the Friday Consumer Alert. It's all starting now on the CBS Evening News Online edition. It is an unusual case peculiar to Washington, and it boils down to who blew the cover of a CIA agent at a time her husband was publicly challenging the White House claim that Saddam Hussein was trying to build a nuclear weapon. It's a federal crime to knowingly reveal the identity of an intelligence agent, and today, for the fourth time, Karl Rove, the president's most influential advisor, was called back to a federal grand jury to tell what he knows about it. White House correspondent John Roberts has today's developments.
The investigation winding down, it was a last chance for Karl Rove to convince the grand jury he did nothing wrong. After 4 hours inside the courthouse, Rove's attorney said in a written statement, the special counsel has not advised Mr. Rove that he is a target of the investigation and affirmed that he has made no decision concerning charges. Rove had volunteered to testify again, but a fourth round of questioning, say experts, carries with it both ominous appearance and potential risk.
It's never a good sign when you're called once for a grand jury. When you're called 4 times, it means that something's up. It means the prosecutor isn't satisfied with what you've said before. There may be a gray area. There may be grounds for some sort of a charge, and I think that's the risk that Karl Rove has.
At issue is who revealed the name of CIA operative Valerie Plame, and did that leak amount to a crime? Most of the testimony has swirled around Rove and Dick Cheney's chief of staff, Louis Scooter Libby, both of whom reporters said talked to them about Plame. Even if prosecutors found no crime was committed in the leak, they could still bring indictments.
I think it's more likely that if we see indictments, they're going to be for obstruction of justice or perjury rather than for the underlying crime.
With Iraq, hurricanes, gas and heating prices all demanding attention, is the investigation a terrible distraction for a president struggling to keep his agenda alive?
Because that's what
Not to hear the White House tell it.
And while there are other things going on, the White House doesn't have time to let those things distract from the important work at hand.
But one official, former official at least, from a previous Republican White House told us today this whole thing is a huge mess. Whenever one of your top people is under investigation, all the focus of the White House is on containing that issue. Bob?
I noticed that Scott McClellan, John, was asked today if Karl Rove still enjoys the president's confidence. He didn't exactly give a ringing endorsement, it seemed to me.
Well, he wouldn't say specifically. He only reflected back on previous statements, leaving it to us to dig up those statements in which he did express confidence in Rove. But, Bob, that this whole thing really is a huge distraction to the White House, regardless of what the officials say.
Thank you very much, John. Pakistan called off search and rescue operations in the earthquake disaster zone today, saying it's time to concentrate on helping survivors. Heavy rain is forecast, and aid workers are struggling now to provide shelter for the 2 million people who are homeless. But the biggest challenge is caring for tens of thousands of injured, many of them children. Richard Roth now with that.
The earthquake's smallest survivors are still pouring into Islamabad's Children's Hospital. Built for 200 patients with almost 600 now, ER's expanded into the lobby, where 5-year-old Ariba is waiting for surgery. Her brothers and sister were killed in the quake, and for 6 days she's had just her mother's care.
Did you have medicine to give her? Did you have something to give her for her pain?
So there's nothing out where we were.
There are so many young patients now that this girl in a wheelchair can only have a bed if another injured girl gets out. Mohammed Sadiq's only family here is the uncle who carried him in.
He lost his mother.
She was killed in the earthquake?
Yeah. He was with her when she was killed. And they haven't told him yet that his mother is dead.
Fatima Ali dropped university studies to come here. While doctors are mending bones and bodies, she worried the children also had needs she could help fill.
Do you try to talk to them?
Yeah, I did. I tried to talk to them. I tried to give them toys and sweets. And then in shock, they're very disturbed, all the kids.
And even sadder wards in a separate wing. There were 5 children here this morning with no relatives at all. Then an uncle saw Amna Akbar on TV, a bit of publicity prescribed by her doctor.
So this little girl lost is now found.
Yeah, she's found. And right now, we're still in the moment. And I want to make sure if her parents are alive as well. They say her parents are all right. Her parents are all right.
It gives me goosebumps, says Dr. Imran, and a hope he can help the others. Richard Roth, CBS News, Islamabad.
If you are on Social Security, you'll be getting the biggest cost of living raise in 15 years, 4.1%. Come January, the government says the average check will go up $39 a month. Some of that will be eaten up by a $10 hike in Medicare premiums. The new Medicare drug benefit that starts in January will cost $32 a month, and enrollment for it begins in mid-November. But many seniors say the hardest part may be just figuring out exactly what it is they're signing up for. Wyatt Andrews has our Friday Consumer Alert.
Maybe one day America's seniors will see the new Medicare drug benefit as a great thing.
This is not fair.
But on this day, at this senior center near Baltimore, great wasn't the word leaping to mind. One word was befuddled, and the most common was
it's so confusing.
What's complicated about it?
Now I have to do a lot more reading, a lot more understanding what plan to pick.
What plan to pick is a huge issue because there is no one plan. When Congress passed the drug benefit, it set the standard, but the benefits will come only through private insurance companies. In Maryland, there are 47 plans being offered.
Did you know going in that there was going to be 47 plans?
No, I didn't. I thought Medicare was going to administer it, but they don't.
With private insurance, though, there will be competition, and the ad campaigns have begun, with several companies offering a no-deductible benefit.
So what's the catch? There's no catch, and signing up is so easy. Come on.
Beyond all of the issues over which insurance company to choose, the Medicare drug benefit itself is complex. For example, the government share, what it pays for drugs, ranges between 0 and 95%.
Why the benefit is so complex goes back to the fight in Congress.
This was pure special interest lobbying. It was
Ron Pollock of the healthcare interest group Families USA says private insurance got this job because the drug lobby didn't want Medicare negotiating drug discounts.
So they wanted lots of different plans, none of which would have the bargaining clout to get prices down.
Medicare will soon provide an online service allowing seniors to compare the plans in their state. And there is time. Sign-up begins on November 15th. But the initial reaction to this complicated benefit, with its co-pays, co-insurance, and catastrophic coverage, is a mind-numbing sense of confusion. Wyatt Andrews, CBS News, Baltimore.
More stories are just a click away, but don't forget to join me on television for the on-air edition of the CBS Evening News. On Monday's broadcast, airport screeners. Why are millions of your tax dollars going to pay for their hotel rooms and living expenses? We'll go undercover to find out. For CBSNews.com, I'm Bob Schieffer.